It's time for the MD and Chef Team Show.
Let's go!
The content in this show is for informational purposes only. It is not intended for medical advice. It does not take the place of medical advice or treatment from a physician or health professional. Listeners and viewers should consult their own doctor or a qualified healthcare professional for specific health and wellness concerns and questions. And now, let's start the MD and Chef Team Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the MD and Chef Team Show. I'm Chef Michael, nutritional chef here at Doctor on a Mission. I'm the chef part of the MD and Chef Team Show. And I'm joined as always by my beautiful hottie bride. I can say that. Your Dr. Isabel.
Hi, everyone. Dr. Isabel. Yep, here we are.
Yes.
So what are we...
Tell us a little about you.
Oh, you want me to talk about me? Okay.
Yeah, just for a moment. Who are you?
So I'm a medical doctor. I was trained in conventional medicine at first at the University of Colorado Medical School. And then later on, at the beginning of 2000, I became disenchanted with the way medicine was. I realized that we didn't have a healthcare system. We had disease management. And all I was trained to do was just to hand out pills to manage people's diseases. And I got fed up. And so I started looking for other ways of doing medicine. And I found the Institute of Functional Medicine. And functional medicine gets to the root cause of a disease. It gets to the reason why somebody's having it so that they can prevent it and even reverse it. Yes, even reverse it. So that's what we're doing here. We want you to learn the latest, most up-to-date on how you can prevent and even reverse a lot of the stuff that you're experiencing right now with your health.
Beautiful. And I wanted to
That was
say,
less than 5 minutes.
Oh, that was pretty good. And, you know, a lot of times people say, oh, well, why should I bother tuning in? What's going on with these guys? And one of the things you find is others will say, and I would say, is one of the reasons we want to come to you and we want to bring you insights and inspiration about having your optimal health and other areas of life is we get you. We understand. And I can say that truthfully because, you know, our time being together now, about 45 years of, you know, my best buddy here, all that time together, has it always been just beautiful and easy? No. As you can imagine, no. So we understand a lot about relationships and people being together, but also we've had our own health issues. We've had to work through a lot of our own personal health issues and also working with clients, but from a personal point of view, you know, if you got things going on, we get you from that end. And then the other thing is I do want to say that over the last 3-4 months or so, life has really kicked us around. And it's really thrown off our consistency in many areas of life. And so if you're someone that's thinking, yeah, there's things I want to do and I want to achieve and I want to accomplish, but I'm struggling with my consistency or yeah, I've learned some really great stuff today. And do you get me? Do you get me that I can't keep going? I want you to know, yes, we get you. We have empathy for you because we know that happens. And
Yeah.
I would just say that the big key with that is, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday in some social media platforms, is persistence. If you remember that old, I mean, if you're fairly young, you won't remember this, but there was an old thing called Bozo the Clown, and it was like this little dummy thing, and it had weight on the bottom, and it was filled with air, picture of the clown, and you could, you know, punch at it, knock it over, and it would fall over, and then boom, back up. And you'd punch it again and fall over and come back up. And that's really what, you know, when I say, yeah, we get you, is we've had those experiences. We've had those experiences where we've been, boom, pretty much laying flat on the floor.
And not bounce back right away.
Not right away.
Not right away.
But understood that, yeah, okay, we want to be persistent and we're going to get back up again and keep going. And then boom. And so when we say we get you, if you're struggling and we understand you, that's from personal experience. And so we want to come to you. Let's just have a chat as a couple friends. We're here to bring a word today about some having optimal health in some certain areas, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But come on back, tune in today, but bring others back with you because it's a safe place. We're here to bring you hope of healing and optimal health and having some fun along the way.
Okay,
Come
I'll
on,
have some fun.
doctor, have some fun.
Hey,
What?
it is the best
Doctor,
medicine.
having some fun?
Well, it is the best medicine. So what are we talking about today, honey?
Okay, so let me bring up what we are talking about today. Where is today's show? There we go. So today we're going to talk about, can anxiety and overwhelm be a contributor to Alzheimer's? I don't think most people have heard about this before. What do you think?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about. And the answer is yes. And we're going to talk about why it's yes. Okay. So I'm going to give you some information, some big ideas, okay, about what's going on. And then I'm going to give you some tools that you can start implementing right now in your life when you leave today so that you don't feel overwhelmed. You're just like, oh, okay. So this is what I got to start doing, okay? If you're doing those things.
So can anxiety and overwhelm be a contributor to Alzheimer's? That's the question, which has already been answered. Yes. But now that should intrigue you to say, what? Yes. I got to find out more about this.
If you want to. If not, you can just say bye-bye.
Or not, okay.
Yeah. So this is my part that I love to talk about. And if there's any men in the room, please make sure that you grab your woman friend, your wife, your partner, because this is so pertinent to women, especially over the age of 35, okay? So bring her in. This is very important for her. And I know that it will decrease frustration, for her, and pain that I went through that is so unnecessary, okay? And I've got my notes here because if I didn't have notes, we would be pinging all over the place. So in a nutshell, in 2013, I just said to Michael, I go, babe, let's start Doctor on a Mission. Let me close down the practice. Let me stop being in a private practice, and let's go online and start teaching population health. Let's start teaching people how to prevent and reverse disease and give them hope, because I had learned enough in functional medicine on how to do that. And so you were on board. Mm-hmm. I was 54 at the time. 54? Yeah, 54.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
54. And I was like, okay, let's do this. So we started doing it.
Yes.
And a year later, business wasn't taking off as fast as we thought it would be. Any entrepreneurs out there starting a business and it wasn't taking off as fast as you can?
In that first year?
As fast as you thought? Well, that's what happened to us. And when I get stressed out, I don't sleep. And so what happened was I ended up just only sleeping 2 hours, maybe 3 at the most, for 17 straight nights. And I'm not going to give you the gory details. I just want to let you know that I was at the end of myself. And by the grace of God, Michael took me to the doctor, who said, this is bigger than me. You've got to see the psychiatrist. And so the psychiatrist said, okay, yep, I can take care of you. And here's what you're going to be on for the rest of your life: an antidepressant and a sleeping tablet for my anxiety, because I couldn't sleep. Okay. Now, granted, that's all my doctor knew. That's all we're trained in conventional medicine. We're trained in conventional medicine how to hand out drugs. We're not trained in conventional medicine on nutrition, gut health, controlling your thinking, sleeping, none of that stuff. So deep down inside, I was such a mess, and Michael was with me all the way.
I was there, yes.
And so I just said, okay. But deep down inside, I was like, we'll see about that. Yeah. And so we went on a journey together, and we were like, okay, let's just keep on taking. I'm going to take my medicine like a good patient. And yes, I slept, and yes, I was a zombie, but I was still alive, which was good.
Yes.
So then in 2017, I came across this amazing giant by the name of Dr. Dale Bredesen. Dr. Dale Bredesen is a medical doctor, a neurologist, who's been studying how to end Alzheimer's for the last 30 years. And we're talking about ending Alzheimer's. You heard me right, ending it, not slowing the decline of Alzheimer's, which is what the pharmaceutical companies are encouraging everybody to do, is take that one pill and it'll slow the decline. Like, who wants to slow the decline of Alzheimer's? Like, I think that's just torture. That's human torture.
A slower declining death.
And I, in medical school, was always taught, I graduated in 1991, and I finished my family practice residency in Colorado in 1995. I was always taught up until that time that there was no treatment, there was no reversal of Alzheimer's. Where Dr. Dale Bredesen, who wrote the book, The End of Alzheimer's, I encourage you to get this book. I started to read it. I started reading it, and I think I read it 3 times, and I was blown away. And what I learned was that 95% of Alzheimer's is lifestyle. What? I was never taught that. 95% of having Alzheimer's is lifestyle choices. And certain medications can actually increase your rate of getting Alzheimer's. And guess what? I was on 2 of those medications.
Scary.
I was so scared because I was already exhibiting some of the side effects of these medications. And I was only like 56, 57 at the time.
Mid-50s, yeah.
57, 58.
Mid to late 50s.
So certain medications block this chemical called acetylcholine. And acetylcholine, which I'll explain later on, is a chemical, it's like juice, that helps both neurons, nerve cells in your brain, to talk to each other. Well, certain medications block it, so the nerves can't talk. Well, guess what happens when the nerves can't talk? Your memory goes down, you forget things, you can't even speak, you forget words mid-sentence. So that was happening to me. So why don't you pull up the first screenshot, honey.
Okay.
Please. So here are the 15 factors associated with young onset dementia, like in your 50s, 60s. And well, nobody should be getting dementia, just so you know. We can prevent it. There's a very minute genetic risk in like less than 5%. And they start exhibiting dementia in their 30s, okay? But after that, nobody should be getting Alzheimer's dementia of the Alzheimer's type. So here, look at this, the second one, depression. Depression is, you have an increased risk of getting dementia of the Alzheimer's type 3 times as much. See how that is? 3 times as much.
Yeah, even over 3 times.
Yeah. So I was on the medication. My diagnosis was anxiety and depression, and I was on the medication, and I was like, holy moly, oh, whoa. But it's good that it happened to me, because that way I can share it with you. See, our mess is a message for you. It's like, you don't have to experience the pain that we experienced.
And that experience started a process of uncovering what's going on here. Why is this happening?
Yeah.
Otherwise, might not have even realized it.
Yeah, and so Michael and I became students of Dr. Dale Bredesen. So you can go ahead and take that off.
Okay.
Thanks. So for the women in the room, in perimenopause, which is between the ages of 35 and 45, and menopause, which can happen from 46 to 56, we are 2 times more likely to be given an antidepressant and a sleeping tablet for our, quote, anxiety. And the thing is that it's not an antidepressant or sleeping pill deficiency. Sorry, I shouldn't be pounding on the... If I'm pounding on this table, Michael's going to grab me.
It's just passion.
It's really... There's a deeper reason. And the deeper reason is your hormones. Another reason is, I mean, it's bigger than just your hormones. It's bigger than your hormones, but it's also sleep. It's also your gut health, which we'll explain in deeper detail. I just wanted to also share that this can happen to men too.
Oh, yeah.
Men can start experiencing dementia in their 40s, 50s, and 60s because their sleep is terrible. Like, the world does not know how to sleep, which is another topic.
Yeah,
we have a lot of topics.
Yeah.
So doctors are trained in medical school, like I was, that if a woman comes in with anxiety or depression, we give them a sleeping tablet and or an antidepressant. That's just the way we're taught. And in functional medicine, I want to give you a picture. In conventional medicine, we're taught to just give the pill. But in functional medicine, we're taught to think upstream, like, okay, what's going upstream that's causing the downstream event? The downstream event meaning having anxiety and depression. So imagine using a mop in the kitchen to clean up the water on the floor. When in fact, why not just look at the faucet, which is upstream, and turn off the faucet so that you don't have your sink overflowing with water onto the floor? Do you see? So in functional medicine, you start working upstream. You turn off the faucet. And that's what we do here on the MD and Chef Team Show. Now, more and more antidepressants are being handed out. And you know what? We have more anxiety and depression in the world than ever. So it's not an antidepressant deficiency. It's more than that. Taking pills may seem like an easy solution. Everybody wants just a quick fix, but that's not the way it is. We've got to do the deeper work. We got to go deep. And you've heard that over and over again on all these podcasts. Go deep, babe.
Go deep.
Yeah,
go do
so
the
that
work.
you can get the work done. Taking pills seems like an easier, quicker solution. I sure did. I was like, okay, until I found my new mentor, Dr. Dale Bredesen. And then I started learning about the ugly side effects of the risk of Alzheimer's. So 2/3 of people with Alzheimer's are women. I'll repeat that again. 2/3 of people with Alzheimer's are women. And that's got a lot to do with our hormone imbalance during perimenopause and menopause that are not addressed. And if you're not following Dr. Mary Claire Haver, Haver, she's a gynecologist who was retrained, and she wrote this new book called The New Menopause. You want to read it. Men and women, you want to read it. It's really good. The other part of women having Alzheimer's is you've got that decrease in the acetylcholine. And the acetylcholine is that chemical that helps your nerves talk to each other. And a lot of the medications stop that chemical from allowing the nerves to talk. Mm-hmm. If you have any questions.
No,
And if
I'm
you
listening.
have any questions, bring it up, because we'll bring it up.
Comments and questions, bring them on in. If you're out there in the stream watching, give us your comments and questions. We're here for you.
And even if they're not live right now, they can put in questions.
Catch it on replay, go for it.
And we go back and answer the questions, right?
We always go back and
answer.
So
feel free to put in the questions, because this is all about learning. So there's no doubt in my mind that there is a place for antipsychotics, antidepressants, sleeping tablets in pretty intense types of brain health, mental health issues like schizophrenia and bipolar. I am not saying that there's no place for it, but I know that they're just being handed out way too easily. Dr. Daniel Amen said, problem with these medications is that they don't just reset your brain, they actually change your brain. And I'm going to show you how that happens by changing the acetylcholine, which is food juice. It's brain juice that we need.
Right.
So an Oxford University study found that antidepressants such as Prozac, Zoloft, these are some of the common names, Paxil and Leprexo they don't just decrease our depressive emotions and our negative emotions, they actually decrease all emotions like joy and happiness, which we need. And I remember when I was...
They make you flatline.
Yeah, I remember when I was taking the antidepressant, I was pretty flat. I was pretty zombie-ish. And the story that comes to mind is one day our youngest daughter was going to be flying away from New Zealand, as they do, on their big OE. They go check out the whole world. And I'm a crier. Mm-hmm. I just show my emotions by crying.
Yeah.
And sometimes pounding the table.
A hugger and a crier.
And we were at the airport one day sending her off, and she was about to get on the plane, and she looked at me, we were hugging each other, and then she pulled me away, and she said, "Mom, you're not crying," which meant to her love language that I didn't care that she was leaving. But you know what? It was because I couldn't cry. The medicine had just like made me really numb, which is such a drag. And so I just wanted to let you know if that happens. It's a real thing. But the thing is it can come back.
Yes.
So let's talk about acetylcholine. So acetylcholine is like fertilizer to your brain. It helps your brain connect and talk to each other. It's a neurotransmitter, and a neurotransmitter is just simply a transmitter that talks to nerves back and forth. And neurotransmitters carry signals from one brain cell to the other brain cell. Another way of saying it is that they just help talk to each other. They're like, "Hey, how you doing over there?" "Oh, I'm doing great." But if there's no connection, then one nerve can't talk to the other nerve. And there's a lot of connections in the brain. Neurotransmitters can carry signals to help us think, to have memory, to help us feel, help us know whether we shouldn't be doing something. It's just overall important for our brain function. Excuse me. Antidepressants stop the action of acetylcholine. So if you've got a nerve here and you've got a nerve here, and there's acetylcholine, which is the little juice chemicals in the middle between these two nerves, a lot of the antidepressants block that juice so that the nerves can't talk to each other. That's really, really important. The NPS...
And I just wanted to say, I love the way you're explaining that and giving us a picture of how this is like the nerve juice for our nerves and neurotransmitters, but, just thinking that the brain cells need to talk to each other. The neurons got to be talking, and that's just the juice that brings it all together. And for everything from memory to feeling to emotions and all the things going on in the brain. And when these drugs are basically cutting off the juice or putting a wall up there that juice can't flow between
Guess
those,
what happens?
We got problems with the brain going on.
Right, and we'll be showing you how it affects your brain.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and pull up the first...
Number 2?
Yeah, number 2, sorry.
There you go.
So this is called the Anticholinergic Burden Program. And it was created by a nonprofit organization in Australia called NPS. And I found this and I was like, wow, this is really good learning right here. So let's bring up the third one, hon. And this is the anticholinergic potential effects. Now, if you look up on the key system, I guess I need to go way over here. So if you look up, it says key system. I guess that's the top right for everybody.
Yeah, up there in the top
Top
corner. Key
right
system. There you go, hon. Yep.
There.
key
That's
system.
so hard to do. Right there. There is mild, moderate, and severe. Well, I'm going to share with you, we're going to talk about the moderate and severe, and we're going to start with the central effects. Do you want to point to central effects, babe?
Let's see.
Yeah, up there.
Right there.
So we'll start with
central effects.
So people start experiencing restlessness, dizziness, confusion, agitation, headaches, fevers, problems sleeping, memory loss. So that's the moderate. Then the severes are cognitive impairment. Cognitive impairment means just worsening memory. Can't think. You fall, you have accidents because your balance is off. You have hallucinations, delirium, seizures, functional decline, meaning you can't take care of yourself. You can't even wipe your bum. You can't even shower yourself. You can't even pay bills. You can't even go grocery shopping. You can't even drive, okay? Like, this is serious stuff. It's a burden. It's an anticholinergic burden. And you also have increased dependency on other people to help you out, and diminished quality of life. Like, I don't want anybody wiping my butt. No, that's not going to be happening.
Not a good picture.
Yeah. Like, who wants that?
No, you don't. No human being wants that to be part of their going out of here process.
Yeah, it's just, no, that's not happening. Okay, then the gastrointestinal tract, that's your stomach, from your mouth down. You get constipation, you can get things like heartburn, that's what gastroesophageal reflux is. Nausea or vomiting, big deals. Who likes being nauseous? You also get fecal impaction, and that's where poop gets stuck in your intestines. You see, our intestines are so smart. They've got a built-in system that helps just squeeze the poop out, okay? But the anticholinergics stop that squeeze. So there's no squeeze, so there's no pushing. And so people bloat up with poop. They don't poop for days, and then they get this paralytic ileus, which is just the balloon. Imagine part of your intestine becoming like a balloon.
Sheesh.
And with time, it can pop, and then all that poop goes inside of your abdominal area, and then, you can die from that. It's sad that this stuff isn't really talked about. It's just, here's your pill, here's your pill, here's your pill. Then the genital urinary tract, that's your urinary, your kidneys and your bladder.
Shall we just do the severes?
Oh yeah, why?
Well, just because.
Okay.
Because you got a lot there. I mean, that's basically, as everybody looks at what's going on there's a lot.
Okay. All right. Well, it affects your kidneys. It can affect your eyes, to the point where you get increased risk of angle closure glaucoma. That's where the pressure in your eye gets so high that you lose your sight. Mouth-wise, difficulty talking, infections, skin. You have problems with your skin. Heart, you get arrhythmias, that's irregular heartbeats, exacerbation of angina, that's chest pain, and on and on and on.
Yeah,
I won't continue on with that.
No,
I think you get my idea.
The bottom line is,
there's a lot.
You look at that study to see all these anticholinergic, you say it better than I do.
Well, I've had to say it.
Anticholinergic effects.
Good.
And all these potential outcomes. That list should start to waken you up a little bit, saying, whoa, wait a second, what are these drugs possibly doing to me?
But this is all we're taught in medical school.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, big pharma.
Yeah, it's just taking a look at where this could lead to.
So let's go into the medications.
Okay.
Which is the next screenshot.
There we go.
So I'm just going to give you some examples of the medications that cause anticholinergic effects. Your antidepressants is a big one: citalopram, escitalopram, fluoxetine, also known as Prozac, paroxetine, citrulline. So those are some of the medications. Benzodiazepines like diazepam and temazepam, which are used to help people sleep. I was on both of those. But anyway, the point is, we just want you to wake up and understand that there's side effects. And a lot of the time, the doctor doesn't really talk about it because a lot of the times they don't have time. So Michael and I are here to help you take control of your health. That you are your own doctor. And when you come and see a doctor, we're your second opinion. And if you're not happy with that second opinion, go get another opinion. So the question is, you can go ahead and pull that up then.
Okay. And I just wanted to say that as you watch this back, if you want to send us a direct message, I'll make sure that we send you those screenshots. You know, you could either screenshot them yourself off your phone or wherever you're watching this. But if you want those screenshots that we brought up over the last 15, 20 minutes of what Dr. Isabel was bringing to the forefront for you, and you say, wait a second, I need to really look at all this, then please just direct message us and we'll make sure, or put it in the comments, hey, can I get those screenshots? I'll make sure we get those to you, okay? This is a side note.
Good idea. So the question was, can anxiety and overwhelm contribute to Alzheimer's? And now you know that the answer is yes. I've just shown you some of the latest research. So what can we do? Well, you don't want to stop your antidepressant and your sleeping tablet right away. Don't do that. I didn't do that, okay? That's not how you do it. First, you get your foundation right, and then you're able to take off the medication. That's just a principle in functional medicine. Get the foundation right. And what's the foundational work? Well, gut health. Come on. Your gut, you know, is your second brain. Now, I didn't learn that as a family practice doctor. Your gut, what's that got to do with it? But your gut health is so important. It truly is your second brain. Nutrition is important. Sleep is important. Adequate exercise is important. Minimize alcohol consumption. Now, everybody thinks that alcohol is a health drink.
Yeah, it's a health drink.
And we used to think that too. Let's drink some red wine. It's good for us.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. The latest research shows, actually it was Dr. Dale Bredesen that brought this up. The latest research shows that alcohol shrinks the brain. We only have one brain. Why do we want to shrink our brain? Okay. So the recommendations are now, if you don't drink, don't start. It's not good for you. But if you do drink, it's 4 standard drinks a week. Now, just to give you some picture, that's 1 ounce shot of alcohol. You can Google what a standard drink is. But in a bottle of wine, the standard drinks are 7, not 2. It's 7.
Yeah.
Other things that you can do to help prevent Alzheimer's is social support, friends, going out on dates with your girlfriends or your guy friends, and improve your stress response. So setting boundaries, doing breath work. These are all things that I had to learn in my 50s, you know, and so you can learn them a lot earlier so that you don't experience all that pain. And that is the conclusion of my part of the talk today on the MD and Chef Team Show.
So the question was, can anxiety and overwhelm be a contributor to Alzheimer's?
And the answer
is?
Yes.
Yes. And if you want to get a little more specifics, just rewatch again, go through it, and again, let's have some information from Dr. Isabel there telling you her personal experience and what it could lead to. And if you want some of those screenshots, let us know. I'll send them to you. You can find out more about us at DoctorOnAMission.com or on social media at Doctor on a Mission, where daily you'll find out more about us and what's going on. And we're going to take a short break. Oh, and by the way, we'd love to have you subscribe to those social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Come on over and subscribe. Stay tuned. Find out what's happening. We're going to take a short commercial break. And after we get back, we're going to be doing this week's Healthy Lifestyle Action Step. So stay tuned. Come on back.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye. See you soon.
Hi, Joel Maurer, founder of Dink Ninjas. Dink Ninjas was dreamed up and started right here in Austin, Texas, a dynamic pickleball community. We arm pickleballers with the paddles, apparel, and accessories to dink like a ninja. Dink Ninjas is dedicated to supporting mental health awareness and cancer research. Shop our full lineup at dinkninjas.com.
Focus up. Hey man, zoom in. Hey. Welcome. My name is Chris Rubio of the Rubio Method. Soak it in. Wear it as a nice sweatshirt, a nice yellow sweatshirt. See if it fits. It may be something you say, okay, I'm listening to, but I don't really like it. Not for me. What the hell are you thinking? You have no idea what you're talking about. You have issues because of your bad taste.
Hey, it's AC of AC Sports Live, an interactive sports talk show where your comments are part of the show. Every show we focus on the sports stories of today, with commentary on sports takes, my 2 cents, which is a reaction to my social media feed, Sports Flicks, where we take a look at sports movies and give a quick review. We have a segment called Mental Reps, where we have words of inspiration to help battle the dark side of men's mental health. And then there's the Tender Love Report. Who's being soft or petty in the world of sports? All takes are welcome under one condition. Say it with your chest. I'll see you there.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Nice to have you back. Oh, you were going to welcome everybody back.
Oh, that's okay, babe.
I just jumped in there.
We flip-flop.
Go ahead, you can welcome.
No, it's okay. Silly.
All right. So now we're going to bring you, by the way, that was a word from some really great friends of ours. They've got some wonderful shows. Also, Dink Ninja, if you're in the U.S. for pickleball. Great company there. They do some really great philanthropy and charity work. But now we're going to get into this week's Healthy Life. Today's Healthy Lifestyle Action Step. And today's going to be about brain stimulation. And this is understanding that our brain has neuroplasticity. Now, this is fairly new research, but what it really means is our brain is just not static. We can actually grow and shrink the neurons in our brain, the fire cells of our brain. We can get our brain to enlarge and grow more neurons. Or because of our lifestyle factors, and part of what we were talking about before is our brain can shrink. And you might call that dumbing down. Might be another way of saying
We are being dumbed down by the food industry, social media. I just, before Michael continues on, before I continue on, ping. I just want to say a real simple picture. Everybody knows what Play-Doh is, right? Yeah. So that's what neuroplasticity is. It's Play-Doh. You can reform your brain into a little ball or grow. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. And you know, if you used to think of, or maybe you think of now, is old age, meaning, oh, well, my brain's just shrinking. It's just old age. Well, that's not true. And that's what we're talking about today is brain stimulation so that your brain can actually become more active and can actually grow in strength as you age. So let's talk about
and before we go into that, just one little more thing, just because, you know,
you go.
I get little bits of nourishment that I want to serve up. Please don't believe the lie that you're supposed to have senior moments, that's normal. No. Guess what? We are supposed to be thinking clearly until our last breath here on earth before we go off to heaven. Okay? So please don't buy into that. That is a lie. We are supposed to be thinking clearly until our last breath. I really get upset when I hear people go, oh, I'm just having a senior moment. And I go,
oh, it's just old age.
Well, guess what? That's preventable. Yeah. So sit down. I'm going to talk to you.
Because getting older in age is actually a fantastic time to get more mental growth and upsize our brain, because hopefully you get some more time to do that. But it's something to think about, is how can I actually upsize my brain in the second half of life instead of just shrinking away? So let's talk about some beneficial ways to stimulate your brain. Number one is build a support system. And this is about surrounding yourself with people that empower you, social networks, not online, but out in the world, where maybe you join organizations that do things. It could be charities, it could be giving you time, or maybe it's social groups like a biking group or a hiking group, or, you know, even if it's a book group or something. But keeping your social activities going, which continues to engage your brain so that you actually have to talk with people, talk about ideas. Just keep those social connections going. Listen to this. Those with strong social connections are 46% less likely to develop dementia. That's a pretty good reason there to keep up your social connections. Another way to stimulate your brain.
What do you do for social connection?
Well, currently I'm playing golf. Now, I love the sport, but I don't play with the same people all the time. I tried my best to play with new people.
That's very good.
I'm meeting 3 new people every time I play.
That's so cool, Bab. I love that you do that.
Because I like finding out about people, and of course they ask about me, and there's conversations, and maybe afterwards there's possibly a drink or a coffee or something like that. And yeah, just finding out, socializing, having a good walk, and being out in nature, but also talking and socializing with people about life. And hey, tell me about yourself, and you got any kids? What's life like? How you been? Where are you from? It's good socializing. And other things that we do.
Oh yeah.
Another way for brain stimulation is find a purpose for the rest of your life. Don't get to the point where I would suggest, don't get to the point where you say, well, I'm retired, I'm done, don't really do anything, I'm just hanging out by myself. Keep some kind of a purpose, keep some kind of a passion going where it stimulates your brain and keeps things moving forward. And yeah, that purpose of life will really continue to stimulate your brain.
And gives you a reason to wake up in the morning.
Yeah. And look for opportunities to keep learning. What is that passion? What is something I want to achieve? Maybe you're looking at learning a new instrument to play. Maybe you're looking at learning a new language, or possibly it's a different direction in life where you've had this career for a long time and now it's like, actually, I'm passionate about this over here. I'm going to start attending some seminars and some courses and some reading and listening and learning about this direction. So keeping that thought processes, keeping things stimulated.
The bottom line that Michael is saying is keep learning until your last breath, because that helps the connections. Because if there's no connections, then they pull apart. Yeah. And guess what? You're not learning and you're not growing.
And there's also brain training programs you can use. I don't know if you're a crossword person or doing puzzles or the Sudoku, or there's a great software program online called Brain HQ for different areas of the brain to stimulate them. But these are just different ideas for brain stimulation. It is so, so important that even as a younger person, if whatever your career, job, business you're in, that you're just not staying narrow-minded and focused in that, you want to continue to expand your brain growth and continue to expand the brain stimulation as you go. And especially if you're somebody who's in, let's say, 50s, 60s, 70s and beyond, that you're not just kind of shrinking down into your brain's really not doing anything and not being stimulated, because it will shrink. And we want it to upsize and grow as we age, because we can. So I wanted to leave you with that for today's healthy lifestyle action step. Cool?
Yeah, and maybe put in the comments.
Brain stimulation.
Let us know what you're doing to stimulate your brain.
Yes. Now we're going to get into the section that we do on relationship.
Ouch.
That would look broken.
I remember that time in our relationship.
Yeah.
At 25 years. At 25 years, we were like,
Well, we didn't.
we almost.
No, we didn't.
Well, but it
Could
was
have.
pretty.
And that's part of what I'm going to talk about today.
And that's why we're so excited about talking about it, because
Yeah.
now we've mended that stuff up.
Because
And
you
it's,
could get to a point where it's like, doink.
oh, yeah.
But it's also when you do feel like you're getting to a point like that, then there's some things to do to look at it.
There's a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
But we're
look
just
at
going to
where
talk
we're
about
going.
one thing, right?
So today we want to talk about some skills to have a great marriage relationship. All right. So what's interesting is, do we actually ever think about learning skills for a marriage? You know, we have skills for a job, maybe skills for a sport, skills in other areas of life, finances. But what about skills in having a great marriage relationship?
There's a lot of them.
And yeah, so as Isabel said, around 25 years into our relationship, things were kind of headbutting and not going the way we wanted. There was a lot of stress. We both, I would say, weren't actually growing as human beings. We kind of were stuck. We weren't doing that brain stimulation. We were becoming more narrow-minded in that, and it wasn't working well.
Yeah. It was not working well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was just the way I put it.
Oh, yeah. No, it was. We were a hot basket mess. But I'm glad we went through that.
Yeah, because
it forced us to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
Because we got to the bottom line, which is we truly still loved each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the bottom line.
Yeah, that was the bottom line, that we actually did really love each other. We just didn't like each other.
At the time.
At the time.
Yeah.
I mean, now I love and like you. I like constantly, pretty much all day long. There may be one thing you do a day, but
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
well, because
come
none of
on,
us
we're
are
all
perfect.
human beings.
Yeah, we're human. I know, I'm just playing, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all human.
Yeah, but then I loved you, but I didn't like you.
Right.
And I think you could say that about me
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But a very wise pastor at the time
Yeah.
said to us, he said, okay, well, let's just peel this like an onion and take it all the way down. And the bottom line is, do you still want to be together and do you love each other? And we're like, yeah. He said, okay, great. Now let's move forward and let's uncover some things and let's have some talks. And, some different things you can do. I mean, to work on, yes, counseling, therapy, whatever terms you want to do, some psychology, whatever it might take, couples therapy. Also reading, listening, if you need to attend seminars or things like that. But it's about deciding to put in the effort. For me, it was finding out, okay, well, where am I falling short as a husband and a father? And that's why I took that Valiant Man course to learn to be more of a leader.
Mm-hmm.
You were learning about yourself as a woman. What's my place here? So you worked on yourself.
I read so many books.
And I worked on myself.
I still do.
Yeah, we continue to.
Yeah.
We continue to this day. But we learned at that point, it was like, oh, gosh, I guess this is something, because first 25 years, did fantastic, but a lot was going on in life, careers, kids, all these things going on, and we didn't take the time, as we were going through the hustle and bustle of life, we didn't take the time to actually look at it and say, okay, wait, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Until we hit the wall. And then that's when we decided over the last 20 years now to, okay, well, let's actually put some work into this marriage relationship. And that's so important to decide, yeah, I'm going to put some work into this.
And we still do.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, you're always learning something new. You're learning something new about yourself. We put the work in individually. We put the work in as a couple.
Thank you for doing the work.
Thank you, my dear.
I'm so glad we didn't divorce.
No.
You know?
Wasn't going to happen.
Well,
There was too much love there.
I know, but it could have.
It could have, but it wasn't going to. There was too much love.
Yeah. But we talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so just to share that this stuff happens, and you just have to decide, okay, do you love them? And are you ready to do the work? And we continue to do the work.
Yeah. Cool.
And we'll talk about more about
Yeah.
how we do the work to give you ideas.
So
Okay, my turn.
Yeah. So I just wanted to wrap that up and just say, it's having a healthy marriage
Takes work.
takes work, and it's just deciding to put in some time and effort into it personally and as a couple, because if you're just cruising along, it can end up being a train wreck and hit the wall and the whole thing, and we know that from experience.
And one of the little things we do every morning when we wake up is, instead of me just because we wake up at different times in the morning, Michael will be sitting down reading, and I'll just instead of just getting up and going into the kitchen and start making coffee, I actually stop and go to him and give him a kiss and a hug, or I'll lay with him on the chair. But we have body connection for 30 seconds or more.
Yeah.
Maybe 31 seconds.
Oh,
but
we don't count it or anything. Just at least
but the
for a
point,
little while.
the point is acknowledgement, not like, oh yeah, hi. Like, we don't treat each other like roommates.
Yeah.
Because that's a big no-no.
Very well put. I like what you said there. Yes.
Alrighty. So what are we going to talk about next?
Well, would you like to leave the folks with some inspiration, some encouragement?
Yes, I love this part.
Okay.
Yes.
You go ahead and do that, my dear.
I love inspiration because it's breathing in positive, breathing in thinking of hope. I believe our hearts have holes in it, and we just ooze out hope, and it needs to get filled up every day. We need to be inspired every day. And some people will say, nah, I don't need that stuff. Well, liar. So I just want...
You called them out.
So there's this wonderful psychologist. Her name is Dr. Nicola LaPera, who wrote the book, Doing the Work. Great book. And she quoted in her book the study in Glasgow, Scotland, where researchers told 15 runners, hey, we want to give you something that's going to make you run faster. Would you like us to give that to you? They're like, yeah. So they injected them, and guess what? They all ran faster than ever before. And guess what they got injected with?
Yes.
Saline, which is just salty water. So that illustrates the power of believing. Your mind controls your body. It controls you whether you believe something or you don't believe something. It controls whether you get healed or you don't get healed. And I love that because we never were taught that in medical school. This is extra learning that we're learning. Like, this is huge stuff. Now, let's see, Henry Ford. Now, he's that guy long time ago, for those of you who are younger than us, who has been known to put the world on wheels. He created the first successful car for the road. And he said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So if you think you're a loser, you're right. If you think you're a winner, you're right. These runners thought they were winners with this injection, but the injection was just water. The power of believing. Believe you are going to reach your goal. You got to believe it. It all starts with a thought. Thoughts are very powerful. There we are, Doctor on a Mission, Doctor on a Mission. So where does it start? Right here in the brain. What are you planting? What are you focusing on? And I always love leaving people with tools that they can use, before we leave, because we're about to wrap it up.
Whenever you want. Yeah.
So wake up in the morning. Well, the first thing I do in the morning is I get on my hands and knees and thank God for another day. Okay? And I give thanks. But the next thing is, when you wake up, is believe that you are getting closer to your goal. have a goal and just believe that today I am getting closer to that goal. The second thing is do whatever you need to do without beating yourself up to reach that goal. Because if you're beating yourself up, then that's not helpful. It's not helpful to your heart. It doesn't help you with having a happy heart. You want to be excited about trying to reach your goal. And it's a step-by-step process. And that's the third thing, is little steps. How do you win a marathon? Not by one big step. It's little tiny steps over and over and over again.
So true.
And Michael and I love truth and hope. And we have found truth and hope in the Bible. I mean, we're all going to believe something, and we've decided to believe what the Bible says. There's some beautiful, beautiful promises in the Bible. And one of the promises that God gives us in Jeremiah 29:11 is that God's got a good plan for you, for each and every one of us. We're not here dropped into the world for no reason.
It's a random drop. Oh, June.
Yeah.
The stork.
Yeah, you're not just a random spark. You're actually here on earth to do good. You're not here on earth to do bad. And you know, we've got this hole inside of us, in our heart, that we know when we're not fulfilling our purpose. We get frustrated, we get anxious, we get titchy. And actually, I can kind of pick up when people don't feel like they're fulfilling their purpose, because you can just tell they're just frustrated with themselves.
Yeah.
So know that you're here for a reason. God's got a good plan for you in Jeremiah 29:11. Check it out if you want, and fill your mind with God promises. Fill your mind with good things that are going to help you move forward and up and not forward and down. Okay? Because you're in control. And I just wanted to leave you with that.
That's so good. Well, as we wrap it up, I just wanted to say thank you for stopping by today. We really honor your time. If you want to learn more about us, you can find us at doctoronamission.com and on social media at Doctor on a Mission. We are here to help you lead your optimal life and health until your last breath. That's your spiritual health, your brain health, your mental health, your physical health. We're a full package, and we address the full package here at the MD and Chef Team Show. So thank you for stopping by. We appreciate that. We will see you, and we'll be back in 2 weeks at the same time. Please share this out to your friends. We'd love to have you along for the ride. We hope we brought some great insights and inspiration. And as you could probably tell, we like to have fun along the way.
Just a little.
Yes.
Yeah.
So from us, Michael,
Isabel.
Mwah. Thank you for stopping by. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
If you're part of that 70% who haven't subscribed yet, well, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can come along with us. Give us a like. Thanks.